All right, hey guys, Mr. West here. So, next thing we're going to model is going to be the stack. I am going to go through, this is going to be a revolution. So I'm going to create a new sketch. I'm going to start on this axis, or this plane again, this XY plane, if it'll let me select it. Let me just pan over and select it there. There we go, perfect. And I'm going to create this side profile. So, we're going to start here. I'm going to start with a little rectangle. And just make it however big we need to make it. So it tells me that the diameter of this bottom stack is 0.5 inches. So because I'm going to be revolving this, the diameter is 0.5. This is going to need to be 0.25. And you'll see why in a minute. The height is also going to be 0.25. That doesn't change from my dimension drawing. So it's going to be 0.25 tall, 0.25 wide. Next thing I'm going to go do is add the top part of that chamfer. So I'm going to add another rectangle. We're going to go back and kind of cut this out a little bit. I'm actually going to go through, we'll add the rectangle, and it's supposed to be 1.5 inches tall from the base. So we're just going to add that there, and I'm going to go from my base to my top, and that is supposed to be 1.5. So I've got that created. Note here too, this is going to be off a little bit because I don't have this dimensioned. I'm going to go through and make this a separate component. So we're going to start from there, and then I'm also going to add this top part, which is going to be another little rectangle. I got to go through and add a line that goes out here to here. So I wanted this to be at the same height. I'm given the diameter of this top portion right here, the widest point up at the top. Is supposed to be 1.25. So I'm just going to leave this kind of about here because what I'm going to go through and select my dimension tool. So from here to here, it needs to be 1.25 divided by 2. So I'm going to save that and hit enter. So that is going to be my top stack, and I'm just going to close that off real quick here. I'm probably going to go back and delete that in a bit, but I just wanted to have that closed off for now. And then the last thing we got to do is create this top part. So I can tell you that it's going to be a 15-degree chamfer, and I'm going to kind of model that in here actually. So is what I'm going to do is make this, it doesn't really matter the height, but it needs to be 15 degrees for now. No, not 15 degrees from there. My bad. It needs to be 15 degrees from here. So this is 90 degrees right off of that. So I'm just going to do 90 minus 15 to get my actual degree measure. It did not like that. It did not like that. We're going to try that again. I'm going to go here. So 90 minus 15 would give me 75. And if I hit enter, is it going to freak out? No, it's not. Okay, good. And then I need to go from here to here. Is supposed to be 1.75. Okay, good. It didn't freak out. And then this needs to be closed here to here. Here to there. There we go. The other thing I did, you saw me when I was making this, I'm just going to show you again. When I went to this line, I went over to this corner and then pulled up. So what that's going to do is make sure that this line that I'm creating is on this same plane. It's gonna automatically kind of dock to that. So it creates that dashed blue line there. I want this to be at 0 degrees. So I want that just to be there to there. And then I'm going to go through and close that arc. Now I am, like I said, going to go through and actually trim out these lines. Okay, there we go. It didn't like that for a second, but we're good. There we go. Ta-da. So that is the profile of this shape. So I'm going to finish my sketch, and then I'm going to use my revolve tool. So my axis, I just want to be basically this center line here. I wanted to do a 360 degree sweep, and we can see that that creates the stack. So I'm just going to press OK. And now we can actually see that this the cutout in the middle of the stack is actually a hole. So I am going to go through and use my hole feature. I'm just going to start on the top. And now we're looking at this dimension, and it says it is a diameter of 0.375 and it goes down 1.5 inches. But then it also says it has what's called a counter bore. So a counter bore is basically just a cutout with a machined face on the end. So it's going to go, that counter bore is going to go down 0.375 inches. So I'm going to select my counter bore. We're going to start plugging in some numbers here. So my overall depth, I want to change this from 0.8, and this is actually going to be just a regular hole. So I'm going to change that from tapped to a simple hole. My depth is going to be 1.5 inches. So it's going to go almost all the way through the stack. My diameter of the hole is going to be 0.375. And then my counter bore is going to be 0.875. And it is 0.375 deep. So that's my counter bore. I also want to go through and select my reference. If I just select the edge of that, that should dock that to the center. And then now we have that counter bore for the stack selected. Okay, now we have that and that. I'm also going to go through and turn these into components while I'm here. And I want to check from bodies, and I want to select each of these bodies individually. I'm just going to hit OK, and I'm going to create a new component from bodies, select this body, and hit OK. So now I actually have component 1 and component 2. I'm going to go in and rename these. I'm just going to call it train body, and component 2 is going to become my train stack. And I'm just going to hit OK. Now I'm going to make sure I save. And I'll make sure I hit OK. Alright, so that's how we model the stack. I'm not going to assemble everything yet. I just wanted to turn everything into components. So as we go on and model more of the things and start putting everything together, it's going to make a little bit more sense. Alright, that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one.